So I've had to learn how to evaluate offensive linemen. And we've had 13 guys in 17 years that have made it on to NFL teams. But I have to trust. I've learned, well, what do you like? Why did you recruit them? My guys on my staff, why do you like them? And obviously I trust the offensive line coach's opinion more than I trust the corners. You know? Well, just every one of them every coach we've had has been different. I think one of the things we do that's different than what a lot of other people do, when they get offensive linemen on campus, they train offensive linemen like offensive linemen. And I train them like athletes. There's a part of it, we just train them like athletes. That's what Chris Thompson said to me. He said the difference between what I see and why you guys have had somebody, he said, all the places I've been is you train offensive linemen like athletes. You don't train them like offensive linemen. I'm talking about in the off season. I want them to be athletic. I don't want them to be as big as you can get and can't move and you can't do things, because number one, they're going to stay healthier. Okay, two, you're looking, there's all these other intangibles that go along with it. But we all try to make it scientific, and it's still a crapshoot. I'm just telling you right now, we've had guys. Did I even when we came and LT was a sophomore and he ran a 4, did I know he was going to be a Hall of Famer? Absolutely not. I mean, Coach Fran tried to move him to fullback because he ran a 4.6 and people were catching him. And then between his sophomore and junior years, he went from a 210 back to a 220 back, and he went from a 4.6 to a 4.38 in the offseason work. And all of a sudden, nobody could catch him, and he ran through people, and then all of a sudden, now you have. Did I know that he was going to be the kind of player? No, I don't. I mean, all I know is I'm two guys that were recruited that weren't very highly recruited, LT and Brian Urlacher. We recruited Brian Urlacher to New Mexico. And all I know is in 2 successive years, I've been a part of coaching 2 Hall of Famers. And both of them, I mean, out of Lovington, New Mexico, I think Brian Urlacher might have had New Mexico State, might have been his only other offer. Texas Tech didn't offer him. He was a 195-pound free safety at 6'4". And after a year's time, he was a 250-pound linebacker, still ran 4.5 and 6% body fat or whatever he had. And so all we can do is try to do the best we can do.
Your view on the stars aside, what does it mean for the perception of the program and guys like Sean?
Well, yeah, all that. To other people, I know a lot of programs, I guess my point to you is a lot of programs take people and because of perception, so they don't feel like that they're not going to get fired because they don't recruit a certain kind of level class. TCU has never made me have to do that. Because here's the thing, my business model is not to run people off. So if you're going to recruit guys that can't play at your place just because of the amount of stars they got, then how are you going to get guys in? So they have to do. Well, I don't have that luxury. I don't have that luxury to go recruit somebody that has a bunch of stars but he can't play at my place. And so, and to be honest with you, I want to be able to sleep at night. And so that's why we've done the way we've done things. Doesn't mean that we haven't made mistakes. That doesn't mean we hadn't screwed up. That doesn't mean any of the above. But for me, it's just we're just trying to get. If I say I'm going to do something or this or then I want to be able to back it up. And that's how people say, well, how do you stay 21 years? Well, you stay 21 years trying the best you can to live up to what you say you're going to do. That's what people want you to do. That's how you survive the bad times.
Are you retired recruiting service? Are you retired?
No.
No?
No, you guys are a lot more experts at that than I am. Well, we're doing it not for the arms race of recruiting. We're doing it because of the unsurety of TV, as much as anything else. So what happens if all the TV money goes away? Well, not this new one. We're raising money on it, but the bottom line too is you're doing it. Yeah, it's going to make our stadium nicer, and it's going to give a better experience for our fans and the people that are up there and do things. But the other part of it is how does TCU take care of TCU? I mean, that's the bottom line to it is, so when we all change conferences again, they decide in 6 years when all this TV stuff goes the other direction, whereas TCU, if you don't have the vision, I mean, we've had the vision to change all the, if there's anybody that has a a good feeling about what you need to do to change conferences and do it, it'd be people at TCU. And so we don't have the vision to understand we better take care of everything that we need to take care of. If we're arrogant enough to think, oh no, we're in, then we need to go look back at our past. Because we weren't in the Big 12 when they first went to it. Oh no, nope. Yeah, no, I'm like my wife. No, hell no, I don't have everything I want. It's like, but it's like, did you hear my conversation? It's what you need, not what you want. Well, need is about making sure, like, you're never going to see Gary Patterson build something gaudy. I'm going to build something nice, it's classy, but you can still, it still looks like you can work. Our locker room's going to be nice. We just redid it, and it's really nice. It's nicer, but it still works. I can still turn on the bright lights, and it still looks like a workplace. It's just like you got it. I'll give you a great example. So when you're in college, he's in college right over here. This guy's in college, and if he wants to bring a girl home and have watch TV and do things, he's not bringing it. He's got all the lights on, turned as bright as he can have. He's got mood lighting. It's a little bit dimmer. Yeah, exactly. See here, that's exactly what I'm saying. So you have a situation where that's the recruiting part of it. So you build something we didn't have, where we had a room where there can be recruiting aspect of how it looks to it's a workplace. And so we got a place we can change the lighting. Now it's a workplace, and if it needs to be for recruiting, it's a recruiting. Yeah, you just look out in the world, everything goes hand in hand across the board. Oh, anytime there's abuse, there's always going to be restrictions. And anytime anything's ever got too far out of whack. I've said this about coaches' salaries. I've said this, and I know what they pay me, and I understand now, but it's the field. It's what's going on. But we all need, all these guys. Everybody needs to take back and decide, well, what happens if we don't have it? Nobody thinks it's going to go away. Well, I'm one of those guys that every day I think I'm going to get fired. So, yeah, probably if it was up to me, being the small town guy, I'd have it in some hole somewhere. I wouldn't even have it there. No, I'd have it somewhere deep. So, yeah, but my wife won't let me do that either. So
is this redshirt rule going to be?
I think it's a great rule. Yep.
So
And
you're going to use it different ways.
but I don't know it's going to be much different. Like I said, people were playing guys in medical red shirts 3 or 4 ball games already. The difference is, I think it's going to be better for all of us because at the end of the year, when everybody's banged up, you can use more of your football team. And I tell you, the 2 positions I think that'll gain the most out of it, because they're both knowledge positions, is quarterback and offensive line. Because offensive line is such a knowledge base, such a technique-based position. By the end of the year, you get better. And quarterback, for sure. Well, you didn't want to play the freshman quarterback because after 1 game, his red shirt was off. Well, now, you can put him in a first game, okay? And then as he develops, he's down on your end. You may see now he's learned the offense. He's got a better grasp. He may be as good or a better athlete than the guy you have, and he may be able to. He might be, yeah. He might. Well, yeah. Well, I think, or you have 2 guys at a position and you don't play them both the same game, and that you think they're both going to redshirt. I'm talking about any position. You play 1 in 4. They play the same position. One plays in 4 games, the other plays in the other 4 games, and you gain 8 games out of it. And you gain 1 more player basically for your team. It's just on special teams. Even a kid at that position just started 8 of the 12 games at punt. So take 8 games times 8 plays just in punt. That's 64 plays that somebody else didn't have to go out and go do it. If you could cut down those numbers, across the board with your team. Now, and I've made fun of this. I've kind of said this as a joke that we really haven't changed this since we had 125 scholarships and we played 10 games, but that's about true. It's about true. Well, now we're at 85 scholarships and we played 15 games this year, right? So, it just needed to be changed. This is a health rule. Everybody's trying to say, well, how somebody's going to gain an advantage. If you play 1 play in a ball game, you played in a game. And you can only play one play in 4 ball games. If you play one play in 5 ball games, you're no longer a redshirt, period.
Well, like you said, if you play a bunch of people in that game and you're just starting linebacker, say you're hitting about 4 touchdowns. You have to play to start.
Yeah, and you know the kid can still, and here's, this kind of goes along with the transfer rule. Your freshmen are going to be a whole lot happier.
Yeah.
You know, because they're going to get a chance to play, and it's not one of those, well, I can't do it. And, you know, you have to, where I see it different, I'm going to have to change two-a-days. Well, when you scrimmage, you may have given your freshmen 8 to 12 plays. You may scrimmage them 24 to 30. Because now you can play them in 4 ball games. Yeah, I mean, you can. It's a complete game. It's not. There's just a lot of ways, and I'm sure every coach sitting in here has got his 10 different ways he thinks it can help him. And so, how do you? So there's going to be a lot more thought process, even in when because we have a special teams morning. We go through our special teams. We teach each other every year before we go into 2 days, and we do the depth chart. Well, that depth chart now. It's going to have a lot more importance. You know, you do your top 2 and then you put everybody underneath it. Not anymore. Now your 3s and 4s. How we practice, how many more reps we're going to get them so they can learn how to do that plays a difference. For at least 4 ball games, in some ways, maybe up to 8, you're able to play with your whole football team instead of, if you had 20 red shirts, you're playing with 65 instead of 85.
So you finally have an 87-man team again.
And with walk-ons. And so, and that helps. That's not just your scholarship guys.
Yeah.
That's your walk-on guys. So now, you know, we had 21 seniors scholarship, and we had 14 walk-ons that played, and I put on at some point in time
That played last year.
that played a role on our football team this last year. And so any of those guys, those guys are going to make a difference, and they know your walk-on program is going to be a lot stronger because they know even as a freshman I can play in more ball games. I can have another year to develop. I mean, just go down.
You got
There's all kinds of reasons.
Yeah.
Coach, I was going to ask you about O'Shawn Mathis earlier, but you answered my question. Another guy that you guys signed that really popped out to me on film was Trayvon Moore-Woodard.
I tell you, I don't want to sell any of those guys and build them up. You know, somebody, you want to, Shaywo and Darius are going to be the next LT. I'm not ever going to do that to some kid, but when a guy's got corner skills and is big and he can hit like a safety and he's smart, then yeah, and Trey's another guy. To be honest with you, on defense, I don't think we missed on one player in this class. Intelligent-wise, athletic ability on defense, not one of them.
You spoke to O'Shawn's athleticism. Is he somebody that's going to need a red shirt to kind of?
I don't know. He's really strong. He's a lot stronger than what you think. Him and John Stevens. John Stevens, you'd think a 6'6" wide receiver would be a guy that really needs to have a year because most tall guys. He's really strong. His upper body power clean and bench and incline. He's a lot strong. He was a 7-foot high jumper. So it's not one of those guys that he's got to grow into his body. And to be honest with you, I'm really excited about the freshman class. Now how fast can they speed up their process of learning the offense and defense and become what we need them to become? We're going to find that out. But I've been very happy with the conversations I've had up to this point defensively with the guys, those young guys. So.
How's Juwan Johnson transition from Northern Illinois to you guys?
Good, a lot more running. I'm seeing him get a lot faster already. He's a lot different player. He's a lot different athlete right now than he was when he came.
Gary, where did the 80s soundtrack before practice come from?
70s and 80s?
Did you put it together?
Oh, no. Somebody else did, but I have 2 different ones. Like I told somebody, it's not that I want to listen to my music. And every time I've tried to play somebody else's music, their music, we've had bad seasons. So it's more of a superstition. I told them I'll play them, but just understand, anytime I've ever done this, now we play their music in walkthrough, and their rule. I hear my son, because my son's on the team, and this is what Blake says. He says, Dad, anytime any of those songs come up that are on your soundtrack, we immediately turn off the radio or turn it because we know we're going to hear it tomorrow. I said, well, that's what I'd say about your music. But it's it's one of those things. And it's also really funny is that by the end of the year, if you just go and they run across when they know and you just turn off the music real fast, how many of them are running across, go to another drill, and know all the words? Oh yeah, so they're just complaining to be complaining.
Terry, you look at a guy like Ty Summers, who kind of is along with your recruiting philosophy, 2-star guy out of San Antonio, not highly recruited. What did you see in him?
And he was a quarterback.
Yeah. So what did you see in him that
Needed.
everybody
I had
overlooked?
one more scholarship. And they told me he was a great kid. He could communicate. He was quarterback. He ran a 10-900 meter, and so I needed another linebacker. And so, we said, well, if you can put a guy like that in your system, and he's a Rice type of academic type guy, then you're going to have a chance to make himself into somebody.
And was he immediately open to that whole switch?
Well,
that's
the way I presented it on his recruiting visit. I didn't bring him in as the quarterback and change him.
Right.
Hey, look, I can give you a scholarship if you want to try to be a linebacker.
And he said,
Gary,
sure.
Yeah.
how good?